are here at the Marngrook Oval in Diamond Creek to watch round 2 of the F1 grade, Diamond Creek Bundoora. This is the 2018-19 season, and today is the 20th of October 2018. This is Channel 8, the local sports network, and I, Chukka Wilson, welcome you to this broadcast. Hello everyone, and welcome to the third week of the 2018-19 cricket season, brought to you by Channel 8, the local sports network. We are here at Marngrook Oval to watch the second round of the F1 grade between Diamond Creek and Bundoora. Today is the 20th of October. So we had round 1 last week. It was a one-day game, and now we have gone to round 2, which is a 2-day game, and then in 2 weeks' time we'll have the third round, round 3, which is a one-day game. Now this is the first game that we've had at Marngrook Oval this season, because Marngrook Oval pitch has been relayed. We'll talk about that later on in the pre-game, but this is going to be the first game of this season here at Marngrook Oval. So over the course of the last 2 years, both the Diamond Creek Coventry Oval pitch has been relayed, and now the Marngrook Oval pitch has been relayed. And So now finally we get to play some cricket at this wonderful, wonderful cricket ground at Mungrook Oval. Now, as you will no doubt be able to see, the ground is very wet right now. One person is sweeping the pitch for water. Another person is holding onto the big blower, the leaf blower, I think it is. And that's because there has been a lot of rain over the course of this morning. From about 6 a.m. to about 11 a.m. we saw quite substantial amounts of rain. The rain was so heavy that if they had been playing at the time, they would have been called off. That was how heavy it was. And so it hasn't been since 11 that the rain has stopped. So we've only had an hour and a half to dry things off and try and get the situation to be playable. But right now it's very difficult because first of all, it's very cold. It would only be in the teens in terms of temperature. And second of all, it's a very overcast day. There is not a single bit of blue in the entire sky. It is just various shades of grey, from the whitest of grey off towards the south, and then some very heavy greys over towards the east. And that has meant that in terms of getting the ground and the pitch dry enough that you can actually start playing, it is going to be a great challenge. Currently the time is 20 minutes to 1 o'clock, and so in terms of actually starting the game on time, it's going to be quite difficult. Everyone is not getting their stuff prepared. Everyone is just hanging around. Only a couple of people are actually training. And that gives you a sense of just the tone of what is happening right now on the ground. Now, this game is obviously going to be a very interesting one because, as we talked about last week, this Diamond Creek team in the F1 grade are here because they got promoted. They won the F2 Premiership last season, putting up an absolutely magnificent performance, almost not dropping a game for the whole season, and they got promoted up into the F1 grade. And they won their first game comprehensively by 100 runs in the one-day game. And so this is their second opportunity to actually participate in this F1 grade. They are playing against Bundoora. Now, Bundoora ended up having one of the worst seasons in the F1 grade for the 2017-18 season. They ended up on 7th place with a 3-8 record, while Diamond Creek in the F2 grade were first with a 10-1 record. And so now you have a team that nearly got demoted down to F2 playing against a team that has been promoted up to F1. And considering how well Diamond Creek did last round, now obviously there's a bit of a some grain of salt we have to take to the previous round. Although the team that they were playing against were in the grand final and the runners up to the premiership last season, they were missing all of their best players and they had to call in reserves, which is why they only named an 11 at the last minute, and many of them were clearly juniors and regulars for the lower grades. And so the fact that Diamond Creek were completely outclassed Rosanna was not surprising in the least. So now we have the second round against a team, Bundoora, who did far less in the 2017-18 of F1 than did Rosanna. So the question of what they can do versus Diamond Creek. Can they show Diamond Creek a much more appropriate picture about how good and how high quality the F1 grade actually is, and whether or not Diamond Creek will actually feel like they've got a real challenge on their hands in terms of actually performing in this league. So that's all up in the air. But for the moment, let's just think about what did Bundoora do last week? We obviously know what Diamond Creek did last week because we were there, we saw it. It was live on Channel 8, the local sports network. But what did Bundoora do? Well, Bundoora played against Eltham. And Eltham, in this one-day game, Eltham scored 9 for 140. Knight made 50 and Luca 46 not out. For the Bundoora bowlers, Siwas 2 for 31, Brennan 2 for 5 and White 2 for 28. And in response, Bundoora fell 9 runs short, completing their overs at 6 for 131. Sakpal 23, Caracella 32 and Scott 27. For the bowlers of Eltham, Hodges 2 for 19 and Knight 2 for 17. So, Diamond Creek winning the first game with a thumping victory, but Bundoora losing. And now, considering the fact that Diamond Creek have just been winning constantly from last season into this season, but Bundoora have been losing. They lost a lot of games last season and have lost their first game of this season. And so they are obviously under an enormous amount of pressure to actually do well now and actually show that they can actually compete in the F1 grade and they shouldn't be in the running for getting demoted. So those are obviously some very important factors at play. But as for the rest of the factors, we'll discuss them after the break. So let's just take a quick break now, and when we come back, we've got a continuation of the pre-game show. This is Channel 8, the local sports network.
Before the pearl, it only serves to remind me that we're all alone in this world. It's raining, I can't tell you when. Storm is gonna end. Thanks a lot.
So let's have a look at the 11s. So for Diamond Creek we have Putto, Ireland, Farron Price, Taylor, Rutt, MacDonald, the captain Milner, Sewell, Jaram, Tassone and Robshaw. For Bundoora we have White the captain, Campbell, Meehan, the wicketkeeper Scott, Sakpal, Bartlett, Caracella, Lekstrom, Siwas, Schiller and Ganliffe. So those are the starting 11s.
Giving life, for an instant I tasted your tears. Oh gods of the sky, wash away your dust and all of these fears. Oh rain, oh rain, oh rain, oh giving life, for an instant I tasted your tears. Oh gods of the sky, wash away your dust and all of these fears. Oh song on the wind, I can taste you as you roll across these plains. All seen, all within, so gather waters, let me feel this pain melted into rain. Oh, rain, oh, rain, oh, rain. Wash away your dust and all of these fears. Oh, song on the wind, I can taste you as you roll across these plains. All seen, all within, so gather waters, let me feel this pain melted into grandfather, grandmother, daughter, lover, sister, brother, mother, child. Let your tears fall to the mountain valleys of your grandfather, grandmother, daughter, lover, sister, brother, mother, child. Let your tears fall to the calling canyons of your grandfather, grandmother, daughter, lover, sister, brother, mother, child. Let your tears fall to the desert longing of your grandfather, grandmother, daughter, lover, sister, brother, mother, child. Let your tears fall to the mountain valley. Ooh.
So, this is our first look at the new Diamond Creek Marngrook Oval pitch. Because the old one has gone, the new one has been laid out, and it is looking very nice and bright green. It is looking very bouncy. It is looking wonderfully clean and nice. And yesterday, when the weather was a bit better, I did go down there and I had a look at the pitch and I took some photos of it. And I got a sense that this looks like a very nice pitch. It looks very pretty. There's two different shades of green, but it looks like it has the right amount of sharpness and buoyancy that a new pitch should have. And it's unclear exactly the type of pitch that it is, what type of bounce we're going to expect. So that new pitch is yet to be tested for its first run. Now, apart from the Marngrook Oval pitch, the other thing that is new is going to be the Marngrook Oval Pavilion. Now, it had been a plan for quite some time that Marngrook Oval would have a new pavilion because, as is present, the players have to get changed in those two sheds at the far end of the ground, and they are not particularly good for privacy, good for space, good for facilities, and considering the fact that this is the second ground of Diamond Creek, not the third or the fourth, it is far beyond what you would expect, and so they have not historically been given the facilities that they need or deserve. And so finally, a $2 million plan has been put into place where they will be given a new pavilion here at Marngrook Oval. And yesterday afternoon I walked around the construction area, and a significant area has been cordoned off with construction fencing. Parts of the grass and trees have been dug up, and we are just at the opening stages because obviously they still need to lay down the foundations and then actually start construction. So in terms of actually having the new pavilion, that is quite a while away. We're not going to be seeing a new pavilion for quite some time, but in terms of getting the first stages in place, it's definitely there. A significant portion of the Marngrook area, the Marngrook Park, has been cordoned off now, and lots of tree roots and dirt are all over the place. So we'll look forward to seeing Marngrook Oval in action, this new Marngrook Oval Pavilion in action sometime in the future. one of the things that I did over the course of the winter is I actually went to see one of the domestic one-day games in the JLT Cup. It was in September, which is technically spring, not winter, but it was over the course of the off-season of the cricket. I went to see Victoria and South Australia play at the Junction Oval, where for the longest time it seemed like Victoria were going to win. They had restricted South Australia to an achievable target. They were going well with the bat in the run chase. Cameron White and Peter Hanscom got half centuries and they were looking very fine. But then a magical little period turned this game around where South Australia were able to win because they removed 4 wickets for basically no runs in no amount of time, and so they ended up winning the game. And I really enjoyed it. I thought that thankfully for the first time in 5 or so years we've had a JLT Cup, a domestic one-day game played in Melbourne. For the first couple of seasons it was restricted to only Sydney, then it was expanded to Sydney and Queensland, and then last season it was Sydney, Queensland and Western Australia, and at long last we have spread it around so that now it's a national tournament once again, and there are actual games played in Victoria and elsewhere. So there were, I think, 4 or 5 games played at Junction Oval over the course of the JLT Cup, and I was able to get to one of them. I was hoping to get to some others, but circumstances got in the way, and I just took a few photos, and that was very enjoyable. So that is what I did over the course of the off-season. And the cones have been removed from Marngrook Oval. There are no more cones around the ground. 2 of the ground staff have run around and removed them all, and so now the cones are being returned to the Diamond Creek storage. So what does that mean? Does that mean that the game has been called off? We'll just have to wait and see. It's unclear at this point what's going on, and so everyone is in a huddle, no one is in their training gear, and we're just waiting for some more details. Everyone is having a good time, no one is stressed out or worried, but what exactly is the case? Maybe they've just decided to change up from the cones to the boundary. I don't know, we're going to find out soon. Let's just keep watching.
1, 2, 3, we'll dance till we die. 1, 2, 3, we'll dance till we die. Goodbye to the rising. Say goodbye. Say goodbye to the sea. Say goodbye. Wipe the tears from your eyes and say goodbye. Goodbye to me. Say goodbye. Say goodbye to the ocean. A fond farewell. The shifting sands. Say goodbye to the outdated ocean. Any of this is still in my hands. There'll be a flood, there'll be a flood, and no one survived the rain all night. Can you see, can you see, can you see it coming down from the sky? The rain. Paints our sickly faces red, and all turns to ash below. When the blinding pulse of industry finally stops dead, after the fire will come the deepest snow. There'll be a flood. There'll be a flood, which no one survives. It'll rain down all night. Oh, can you see it? Can you see it? You see it coming down from the sky. It'll rain all night. There'll be a flood, there'll be a flood, and no one survives. It rains down all night. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it coming down from my eyes? It rains.
Another thing that I'd like to point out is and it looks as though is that the end of the day's play. Everyone is shaking hands and walking off. What will this mean? We'll just have to check. They probably can't go to another ground because there will be no grounds available. So it's just a matter of going home. Yep, it looks as though that is the end of the day's play. So it has all come to a conclusion. The time right now is 5 minutes to 1 o'clock, and so that appears to be the end. And so today has been washed out. It'll be a one-day game next week. We'll just have to wait till next week to actually watch this game. But for now, that is the end. Very disappointing. We all came out here hoping for something substantial, for a full game of cricket, a two-day game, but it's come to nothing, and it's all because of the weather. Very, very disappointing scenes we've got right now. And with this brand new pitch, we would have liked to have seen it in action for the first time, but no good. So there's just one random person walking about, but everyone else is walking away. Alright, let's take a break.
The train came roaring round a curve. Peanut butter. A bald-headed man in a restaurant says, "Waiter, my cocoa's cool." The waiter said, "If your cocoa's cold, put on your hat, you fool." Oh, it ain't gonna rain no more, no more. It ain't gonna rain no more. But how in the world can the old folks tell it ain't gonna rain no more? Just teaching the worm to swim. Now I hope I'm not misleading. I've said the same before, that even though your skies are dark, it ain't gonna rain no more. Oh, it ain't gonna rain no more, no more. It ain't gonna rain no more. But how in the world can the old folks tell it ain't gonna rain no more?